I don't know. What was your favourite campaign, Michelle? I need some more time to think.
Working on Mardi Gras, like thinking about the kind of campaign that the Mardi Gras ran to kind of secure, sponsorship and things like that, making a kind of really bold claim to a kind of economic set of rights that were coming from what emerged or began as a kind of protest / celebration, became a very polished, accomplished kind of public event that was, worth an enormous amount of money to the New South Wales and the federal government. And doing that work as Mardi Gras itself was still engaging in these debates around, should we have corporate sponsorship? How is what is the role of sponsorship? What's this protest about? Is it a protest? Is it a celebration? That I found was really interesting because it was something that occurred every year and the debates recurred every year.
And I think the history of Mardi Gras, which in one sense this book is in the background of this book, really.
Exactly.
Sketches out one of the big, reveals one of the big forces at play that we're interested in here, or that we became interested in because it revealed itself to us, which is that the rise of what we might call neoliberal kind of political philosophy or political ideology has really changed the way that activists will argue for change. Yeah. They make different kinds of promises. They present themselves in different ways. They present their constituencies in different ways. And certain forms of political claims have been much more successfully able to adapt themselves to that changing context. And I think, the success of Mardi Gras can be counterbalanced with the difficulty of domestic violence refuges, to make themselves legible in that context. Yeah. But in terms of favourite campaigns, look, this is perhaps a strange one to kind of use as an example, but working on the kind of conservative women responding to the Family Law Act in 1975 who see that as a betrayal or articulate a sense of betrayal, both by the state and government and by the wider world for sort of casting them aside, who see this idea of freedom not as a virtue but instead as a loss of their legitimacy and a loss of the protection. It really challenged, it was my favourite campaign to work on because it really challenged some of the assumptions that I might bring to something like family law, and to think really carefully about the pace of change that this book traces, that, the changes we've witnessed in ideas about gender and sexuality in a 50-year period are remarkable and quick, so fast. And, the difference between a family law setting before and after 1975, that gulf is large. And I think in some ways we can see in sometimes the responses a kind of whiplash about that change, and a kind of grappling with that change, which I found really interesting to sort of think with